everybody, and welcome back to Oxygen for the Soul. This week's Perashat is Perashat Beresheet. And, I'm going to jump into the Parsha. I have so much I want to say and share. But let's start at the beginning. This is an idea of the Kutzker, and I think it's important because this week was a very hard week for Jews around the world. There was a tremendous amount of brutality that happened. Unimaginable imagery. The stories that are coming out are so painful, so much pain and hurt, so much loss of life. We're trying to make sense of all of this stuff. And we as Jews have had this book called the Torah, and we learn it and we talk about it and we look for guidance in it, and it's there. There's something always profound as far as a lesson that we could walk away with. We can walk away with some kind of profound lesson from the Torah. I always find it comforting. This is why when you're able to actually learn go through the Chumash, actually read the verses, see the Rashi, see the commentary, you'll always find some kind of solace in it. Let's put everything into context, because I think this Parsha needs an introduction. And this question about introductions is something that the Kutzker Rebbe asks. He says, why is it that every single book in the world, by every author, always leaves an intro, some sort of introduction, explaining the purpose, the focus, the background, some history of the book, but the Torah itself got no introduction. Just goes right away. Bereshit bara Elokim et Hashem. Does God not want to give us some kind of intro? Where's the introduction here? Why does it just read right away Bereshit in the beginning? Straight into it. You hit the ground running with Bereshit. Right? So the Kutzker says something profound, and I think it's very much tied into what we're all experiencing right now. And I'll explain how. He says, Derech Eretz Kadma LeTorah, which translates into, it's a quote from the Mishnah. It says that Derech Eretz, which could mean two things. One is the way of the land, which is either business or our behavior, our attitude, comes before Torah. Derech Eretz over here for me represents this idea that we have a moral responsibility to be good human beings before we start learning the Torah. Before you're going to go ahead and start, talking about, who's going to be punished for what crime they did not do, for what mitzvah they did not follow because they're not following Jewish law, and that's why they're punished. You can't say that, because Derech Eretz Kadma LeTorah, Derech Eretz comes first. That is the introduction. Before God gave the Torah, He gave the world this concept of morality. I don't need to be told that murder is bad. I don't need to be told that a child has a moral responsibility to care for their parents. I don't need to be told that we don't hurt children and women. I don't care what the conflict is. There's certain things we just don't do. There's a certain baseline morality, right? And therefore the Torah begins with this idea of, hey, where's the introduction? Before you even read it, where's the intro? It's not even there. The Torah says, he says, Derech Eretz, my friends. There's something called Derech Eretz. Are we good people? If you were listening to this class over the last few weeks, there was a buildup of ideas that kind of are interwoven. We spoke about how Rosh Hashanah is a time where we need to mentally start preparing a vision for our future. We spoke about how Yom Kippur was about letting go of our past. We spoke about Sukkot as Zman Simchatenu, the idea of actualizing, being happy and knowing that we're actually living our ideal. And then on that Shabbat, that Shabbat that we're never going to forget, waking up on that Saturday morning, we were celebrating Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah, right? And we know that the whole entire of Sukkot, we have this idea of Hoshanot. Hoshana, we're screaming out loud and we're going in circles, and we say that we do this so we bring fear to the Goyim. We didn't do a very good job this year. And we're going through the Hoshanot, and we're going 7 times around every day for 7 days, walking in a circle, shaking our lulav, shaking the etrog. And then when it comes to Shmini Atzeret, right, we have Hakafot, Simchat Torah. We go around the Torah 7 times. And the question is, why are we doing all of this? What is the motivation behind 7 times around the bima, 7 times around the shul, 7 times. We did it already 7 times. I got to do another 7 times. Where is that coming from? So the reason for the 7 times, it comes from Joshua. Joshua, the first Jewish leader to come into the land of Israel and to begin this conquest of the land of Israel, comes to a city called Jericho. And Jericho back then also was a walled city. And it was impregnable. It's an old city. It's one of the oldest cities in the world, Jericho. And we knew as a nation that we weren't going to be able to topple the walls of the city. Impossible. So what does God say to Joshua? Walk around the walls 7 times, and you'll see the walls come crashing down. And they walked 7 times around the walls, and the walls came down. So therefore, and we see this, by the way, the same idea, by the way, we found at the chuppah. When a kala under the chuppah is walking around the groom 7 times, why is she doing this? She's doing this to tear down the walls that may be there between the husband and wife. And therefore, the first days of Hoshana, we're walking around 7 days to tear down any walls that may remain between me and God, you and God. So why do I need the second pair of 7 for? So in the same way that walking around has the power to destroy, it also has the power to build. And under the chuppah, when she's walking around them 7 times, God willing, you'll all see your kids under the chuppah, and if they marry an Ashkenazi person, because Sephardim don't do this, we do something different. A lot of Sephardim, we do instead, we blow the shofar under the chuppah. Because before the walls came down, they blew the shofar. The shofar tore the walls down at the end. But the same way that it has a power to build, it has a power to destroy, it has a power to build. So the 7 times for Simchat Torah is about building and maintaining the relationship between man and God. You spent all this effort for so long of building this connection, a dream, a future. How are you holding on to it? 7 times, I want to hold on to the dream. We're building the wall to hold it in. Only to wake up Saturday morning to hear the horrors that are bestowed on our people. Derech Eretz Kadma Torah. Parsha begins with Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz. The Mekubalim point out that the word Bereshit is interesting. It's what is the word Bereshit? Bereshit is Bet Reshit. There are 2 firsts, 2 acts of creation. One spiritual and the other material. Okay? Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz are talking about 2 different things. Shamayim and Aretz, opposites. Aretz haita tovo, chaos. Choshech b'nei tahom. You have all kinds of things happening here, right? You have darkness, and then you have or, opposites. God creates a world of opposites. Okay, and now what ends up happening is that you have Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz. Okay, what is these 2 reshits? 2 different systems of life. And I want us to think about this, because the only way we could make any kind of understanding of what's happening in the world is to accept the fact that there's 2 realities. We say, Olam hazeh prosdor le'olam haba. We say this world is a corridor to another reality, another dimension of existence. This is not the beginning and the end. All things on this world have a beginning and an end, have a bereshit and have an end, a sof. All things. However, we understand that this existence, this material flesh that you and I have, is not the truest expression of what I am. When Adam was created, he was a luminous being who was projecting light from his inner core. Our skin was translucent. It was see-through, like our nails, right? You could see through. You saw Adam, the truest expression of Adam. The only person that actually saw another human being was Adam and Eve. They saw each other because you saw their souls. And all we see is a blockage of it. We don't even see the soul. So what ends up happening is that the world is olam de shikra, a world of lies. We don't have the ability of seeing truth in this world. And therefore, when we see the horror, terror, we have no idea what's going on. It's terrifying. It's scary. But there's another reality. We say, Yafeh sha'achat ba'olam hazeh mikol haba, that one moment of life is greater than all of olam haba. Our Muslim cousins don't understand this. They think that the real experience is death. And what's going on right now, I'm getting so many calls all day from people that are traumatized. And now in America, with a backlash for supporting Israel. How could you support people pulling from businesses, people threatening people, people telling that don't go to rallies, you'll be followed home. This is crazy. This is all part of this insanity. But there's one thing that's a constant, okay? The one constant is that Hashem, for me as a believer, is making us choose. Which camp do you want to be in? Do you want to be part of those people that are people that are thinking deeply about building and growing, people that love life? Or do you want to be in the camp of people that celebrate death? Do you want to be in the camp of people that parade the innocence, victimized innocence, right? Batter these people, destroy them and their families? Oh, it's only 1,300 people, Rabbi, that died. There's so many more Palestinians. This wasn't only 1,300 people that died. This was a vicious, brutal act of terrorism designed to psychologically terrorize us. Right? This is not an accident. This is done this is surgically precision stuff. What is the response to it? Helplessness. I'm stuck. Don't be helpless, my friends. This world has an amazing thing called life. Beresheet, there's two creations here. Okay, two different kinds of creations. Now, the Mishnah in Perkei Avot says that the world was created through dibur, that God used speech to create reality, that the world around us is an expression of words. Asara mamarot nevra ha'olam. The world was created through 10 different types of utterances. And you will see this. You count them. Vayomer Elokim is one. Vayomer Elokim Or is one. You count Vayomers, there's 9 Vayomers. But Bereshit is considered one as well, and that's where we get 10 from. And the Chachamim ask, why did God create the world with 10 Mamarot and not one? And listen to what they say. Listen to this. This is this week's Parasha, my friends. This is what he says. The Bar Tanura says, the wicked who destroy the world, right? For whoever, this is a quote, whoever destroys a Jew, it is as if he destroyed the world. Through their sins, the wicked destroy their own soul, and thus it is as if they destroy the world, right? The world, you think that there's a neshama that we have. And when these people go ahead and they commit these heinous acts, when they do bad things, they destroy their spirituality. They become empty and void of it. They lose their humanity. And the one thing that you and I should never, ever, God forbid, lose is our humanity. I feel bad for the Palestinians. I can say it. I feel bad for the people in Gaza. You should feel sorry for them, even like this. Like Golda Meir said, I said that last night. The Golda Meir said, I won't hate you for killing my children, but I will hate you for making me kill your children. I don't want to be the monster. That's not who we want to be. I don't share videos of people of Gaza strikes, of Israelis. I don't share that stuff. That's not who we are. We are the Am, we're a chosen nation, and we're supposed to be an Or L'Goyim. That's not who we are. But the question is, do we have Derech Eretz? Do we have Emunah? The world is created with speech to remind us of how we speak, how we conduct ourselves impacts reality. There's a cause and effect with speech. And by the way, this concept is expressed so eloquently later in the Parsha, later after the Garden of Eden, when Cain kills Hevel, right? Cain comes along and he kills Hevel, and Cain says that he's afraid, right? He's afraid that he's going to be a marked man. Listen to what he says. This is such a powerful piece over here. He was a roetzon. He ends up killing his own brother. Right? Who kills their own brother? Sickness. Vayomer ma asita. What did you do? God says to him. Kol demei achicha tzoakim alai. The blood of your brother cries out for me from the ground. You don't think that these souls that were taken away, that the blood isn't crying out, that God doesn't want to come down and just erase these people? Of course he does. V'ata arur ata. You're going to be cursed. Min ha'adama asher patzata et piha. Right? You're going to be cursed from the ground, which opened its mouth wide. It's going to, that received your blood as blood. Your piha v'lakach demei achicha me'adcha, that took your blood as blood from your hands. Ki ta'avod et adama. You're going to be a servant of the earth. What does it mean to be a servant of the earth? You're going to be like an animal. Lo tosif tet koch lacha Nad v'nad tiya ba'aretz. V'yomer Kain el Hashem gadol avonai. I made a big mistake. Hen garashta oti hayom me'al pnei adama mipenecha. I stared. God says, I'm going to push you away and I'm going to conceal my face from you. V'ayita nad v'nad. You're going to be a vagabond and a wanderer ba'aretz. V'haya kol motzeya. Anyone who sees you will kill you. V'yomer lo Hashem. L'chein kol harei Kain. Therefore, God says, you know what? It's true. You deserve death, but I'm a compassionate person. I'm going to allow you to live for 7 generations. Why was Cain so afraid of him being killed? Why was he so afraid of someone getting up and taking retribution? Where did that fear come from? He knew that when he lost hashgacha because of his sin, he was in trouble. But there's something that he did, right? There's something that Cain did, which is he had tremendous emunah. It was part of his world. He grew up in a world where he had emunah, and emunah itself is something that is found on a person's face. When you live with emunah, you have a certain kind of protection. There's a certain type of a protection that a person gets when they are living in a reality where they're constantly aware of God being around them. And he had the special protection as a result of his emunah. I know that it's hard to have faith. I know it's hard to make sense of tragedy. And I'm not going to pretend to tell you that I have it all figured out, because I don't. This is heavy stuff. Right? We need to process. We need to process. There's a lot of processing that has to happen. But there's one thing I'm certain of. I'm certain that as Jews, we're gonna overcome this too. And that power, that certainty, comes from a deep awareness of our deep burning desire to be good. It comes from emunah, there's a God. Because if there's no God, what's stopping us from becoming animals? If there's no God, what's stopping me from doing the same thing they did? Let's do revenge. That's not who we are. We're more. And the way we win this war is we strengthen our families. We strengthen ourselves. Stop wasting time. Time is coming to an end, my friends. It's not forever. We're being asked to choose which side you want to be on. We're going to lose our ability to make choices very soon. And right now, you have a unique ability of choosing what you want your soul to look like. You choose. You're going to choose. The way we choose is by doing acts of kindness. Derech eretz kadma Torah. Go do good. Right? Go out there, think big. How are we pulling the Jewish people together? How are we setting up? I had a long meeting, Sonny, last night with Rabbi Fari about all of our plans to make the world a bigger and a better place. And I said to him, I want to set up this year 600 people. I want to set up, I want 600 marriages. That's 1,200 people that we lost. And I want to raise money for people that have infertility issues. I want to have 600 babies this year. I want to go ahead. I want to make shidduchim. I'm not going to allow this evil rhetoric of these animals to get in the way. I'm going to do the opposite. You want to take Jews away from the world? I'm going to bring back more Jews to this planet. You want to go ahead and make me afraid? I'm doing a concert on Monday. I'm bringing everyone together. I'm gonna do everything I can to fight with light. I'm not fighting with darkness. I'm not there. You don't go ahead and equate me with what's going on over there. I'm gonna do my part. I'm mobilized. I'm mobilizing the troops. I'm gonna bring as much tov into the world I can. I'm gonna do my part. Are you gonna do yours? That's what this is. This is a unique clarion call for us to get up and do something. There was no shofar that was blown on Rosh Hashanah. And everyone asked me, Rabbi, what's it going to be? Is it a good year or a bad year? A good year or a bad year? Well, we know what this year is going to be like already. It's going to be a hard year. It's just getting started. It just started a week ago. It's going to be a hard year. We're in for a very bumpy ride, my friends. So hold on to your seats. But I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to see this as a powerful opportunity to get up. We've been lazy. We've been distracted. We've been doing all kinds of other things. Stop worrying and just do good. Do something. Involve yourselves in something. Read. Turn off them. Don't listen. Make a pact with your friend. I'm not going to listen to. I'm not going to spend more than 10 minutes a day reading the news. You don't need more than 10 minutes. You know, I'll give you 22 minutes. I grew up on 10-10 wins. You get 22 minutes, I'll give you the world. 22 minutes, you get all the global news once in the morning and you're done. You need a second time, maximum 44 minutes. But not more than that. Don't infinite scroll. Don't look at the images. It's designed to hurt you. It's designed to take you away, get into your head. Our minds is the interface between the physical world and the spiritual. The two reshits, the two creations of a spiritual plane and a physical plane. It has to do with our thoughts, our speech, our actions. Those are the things that you and I can control. Don't hand those keys to other people. We have a lot of opportunity to do good. Let's focus on doing that. And when we do that, how does the pasuk go? I said it last night, right? It says, the God says there was darkness. But don't worry, or there's going to be light at the end of this. At the end of the darkness is always the light. And it's going to be so profoundly clear that we're going to see that everything that we went through, every challenge, everything was there, specifically catered and designed so that you and I could have the opportunity of just bringing more ore into this world. God will then, it says, God sees the light and he says, Ki tov, it's good, doing good, having proper speech, having derech eretz, doing the right thing, Ki tov. And when he sees the tov, from all the good that we do, you know what he does next? Vayavdel elukim ben haor uben hachoshech. He makes a separation between the good and the dark and the bad, the light and the darkness. You and I, we're light bringers. Right? How are you bringing light into this world? You figure it out. Or Yom, he calls the day, the light day, he calls it night. Yom Echad. It was, and why does he got to say that? I know that. I'm going to end with this. When it becomes dark, okay? Don't worry about it. It's going to be good. How do you get through the darkness? Right? You get through the darkness through Yom, a day of Achad, of unity. The way we fix the world that we're in right now is not by focusing on how we're going to tear it apart, but focusing on very clearly how we bring it together. That's our mission here. That's our mission here. And I believe that's this is Beresheet. Last piece. I know it's long. All right? It's right here. First Rashi. Open up a Chumash. Open up the first Rashi. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Listen to what he says. He says, Lo yatzarich litchil et the Torah ele b'nei hakodesh zelachem. The Torah doesn't need to start with this whole story of Genesis. Start with the first mitzvah. The book is a book of commandments. Why do you got to tell me the story? Tell me about the mitzvot. Matam, what's the reason that started with the Bereshit? Mishum, koach ma'asav, higid la'amod latet lahem nachlat goyim. Right? She'im yamru umot olam. When the nations of the world are going to say to the Jewish people, listimatem, you're thieves. Shekeshaftem arzot shevat goyim. You stole the land of the seven nations. Hem amrim lahem. The Jewish people are going to respond to those goyim that are going to make the claim that we stole the land from them. All the land is from God. Hu bara v'natan la'asher yashar be'einav. He gives it to those people that he saw fit. This is the first Rashi. How did Rashi know that this is going to be a problem that you and I are dealing with today? This wasn't an issue 100 years ago. This was an issue he wrote this 1,000 years ago. That at the end of time, the goyim of the world are going to call us thieves for stealing their land. He said this 1,000 years ago. And the same way, he said 1,000 years ago that these goyim are going to make that claim against us. He also says there's going to be a time where we have a Mashiach, where the redemption happens and everything comes to an end. No more war, right? There's no more disease, no more death. We are going to see it soon. Okay? I give you all a bracha, that you remember that you are spiritual nuclear power plants. You are light bringers that have infinite potential to impact the physical world and the spiritual world. That your minds, your lashon, your tongues, and your hearts have the ability of bringing so much tov. Don't focus on what is lacking. Don't be sucked into the void of darkness, but continually focus on all the good that you could bring. I'm sending you all lots of love. Livi ba'aretz. I promise you, I want to get on a plane. I have so much rage inside of me, and I'm saying, you know what? That's not my avodah right now. My avodah here, to be here with all of you, and to support the people that I'm trying to support. I'm going to try to do as much good as I can, and I'm hoping that you will join me as well. Sending you all lots of love. Shabbat shalom mevarach. We should go from chayal chayal, from strength to strength. Hashem should console those people that need consolation, and we should only share in smachot. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you so much for listening and participating.